Allez, salut tout le monde, c'est Oka et bienvenue pour une nouvelle vidéo React aux dernières ISC, donc Inside Star Citizen, qui s'appelle, ça y est, j'ai déjà perdu le nom, Initiative Indicative. Je sais pas du tout à quoi m'attendre, je l'ai pas vu, il vient de sortir il y a peut-être 10 minutes à tout casser. Donc, eh ben écoutez, on va se mettre avec ma tête en petit par ici et on va se regarder ça ensemble avec mes réactions, évidemment, comme d'habitude. Hop, voilà, on est calé. Vas-y Jared, fais-nous rêver.
Those of you playing Star Citizen for the last month have been experiencing a new kind of mission chain for a new kind of global event called the Overdrive Initiative.
Ah,
the
d'accord.
5-part prelude to the return of a newly improved Xenothreat arriving in the upcoming Alpha 323. And so this week, we went to the folks who created it to discover their original intentions, to hear their reactions to how it's been going, and to get a look at what lies ahead for this and additional initiatives leading up to 4.0 and beyond.
Attendez, ça va être que sur l'Overdrive Initiative là? Non, non. Ah bah si, on dirait. Huh.
Overdrive Initiative, codenamed Hex Penetrator, was an attempt for us to dip our toes into new events and quest chains for players to progress immediately or over a set amount of time.
We're a live service.
Okay.
We need to do things that
Elliot.
increase engagement and get players playing together. So the Overdrive was our way of experimenting with some stuff that's most common in other MMOs and trying to see if it's a good fit for us.
It's a 5-phase mission that prepares the players for the Xenothreat event.
And it's one of the first times that we've actually kind of done a longer storyline across multiple contracts rather than just here's just one.
So in this case,
Alors ça, je suis d'accord. Effectivement, pour une fois, il y a une histoire qui est suivie sur plusieurs enchaînements de missions. C'est vrai que c'est la première fois. J'ai rien de plus à dire.
we try to release the new missions weekly, but depending on feedback and information data, we either shorten it a bit or take a bit longer.
And the idea is that we run it for a phase. It's somewhat grindable content that gets harder with each new one that you do. And it's all towards some sort of greater narrative.
It's more giving the players a deeper understand of the lore of the game and prepare them in advance to the Xenothreat at the end of a long time mission quest chain.
Ok, ouais, sur le principe, je comprends.
So let's start with phase one. So phase one was a data heist where the player had to go down and recover some data off of servers.
On l'a
give
fait
it a bit of a
ensemble en
nervous
live.
spin where the CDF has detected a lot of their security bunkers going offline or being taken over by Xenothreat soldiers, and they're recruiting any willing and able body.
Ok. Ça, on l'a vu.
And you have to go and infiltrate and capture the data to figure out what they're doing.
And keep the server room protected until the hacking is done.
Bon, c'est une mission de hacking comme il y en avait déjà. Hein. Mais bon, c'est intégré dans une ligne
We balanced this
d'histoire.
role of the AI to be the tough part of it along with the servers, so the further up through the mission chain you got less time to recover each server and turn the cooling off.
Warning. Security breach. Response.
And you had more AI coming to attack you.
One of the main key differences that I had the joy of implementing is we took some of the tech from Squadron over, where it's not just Xenothreat attacking you, but they're also putting a lot of pressure going into the server room. You might spot some of the Xenothreat people actually rushing down into the server room to try and check all the covers to see where you're at.
A lot of good feedback so far.
I think phase one went well. We did a lot of work on improving the AI.
Some people getting the intended experience that we have designed where the AI are reactive, where everything's working perfectly.
Some people have spotted some of the AI rushing to the server room and they were like, I didn't even know that AI can sprint at me.
Ouais, alors moi je savais pas qu'une IA pouvait sprinter sur moi, mais je savais surtout qu'elle pouvait se téléporter et ça m'est arrivé je sais pas combien de fois. parce que les serveurs sont toujours en carton. Donc, principalement, les problèmes de cette mission sont exactement les problèmes des missions classiques qu'il y avait déjà avant et qui sont liés aux performances serveurs comme d'habitude.
Is that new?
And other people who are, reporting the chip didn't insert or the AI aren't as reactive as we'd have liked. These are all things that we take down internally and we look to improve constantly to better the experience in live.
Ok.
People seem quite pleased with the new kind of flow of things and the AI being way more accurate and scary. More John Wick, less couch potato.
Depending on the number of players, it gets really tricky because there's a difficulty curve between the first time you try the mission till the last one. The first time is quite easy to get with 2-4 people, but since you get to the end, it gets really hard to achieve it.
I've seen
Ok, alors, ils disent quand même que du premier stade sur 4 pour cette première phase, genre à 2-4, les premiers trucs sont faciles, et à 2-4, ça devient plus difficile. Alors, moi, le premier stade, je l'ai fait tout seul. Le deuxième, il me semble l'avoir fait tout seul, mais c'était un peu chaud, c'était un peu tendu. Et après, pour les stades 3 et 4, il y a Bateau qui est venu avec moi, et on a été 2 pour le faire. Et on l'a fait, mais easy, hein. Enfin, franchement, c'était relativement simple. Alors, peut-être que Bateau a un peu plus galéré de son côté, parce que moi, c'est vrai que je suis resté dans la salle des serveurs. Mais globalement, non, en fait, c'est pas dur. Je sais pas, c'est peut-être qu'on est particulièrement des bons joueurs, j'avais aucune idée.
people coming with like 20 to 30 people just to raid that one bunker, which is, in my opinion, a bit of overkill, but it's really cool to see.
So phase 2 is then a bounty recovery mission.
Where you have to go and find some of these Xenothreat people.
The civil force detect that there is a Xenothreat target that has a decryption key that will allow us to discover information about the Xenothreat movement.
Ok, donc la phase 2, aller chasser les gens qui laissent une clé cryptée derrière eux, et il faut récupérer cette clé cryptée pour ensuite, je sais pas ce qu'il faut en faire, parce que moi la mission a bugué, et je me suis retrouvé avec un crime stat, et c'est pour ça que les derniers lives ont été faits en mode brigand des étoiles, parce que la mission était buggée. Donc bon, ils sont gentils avec leur phase 2, mais moi je me suis fait avoir.
But it's encrypted, and the CDF has then located some high-value targets from Xenothreat, which are holding a decryption key. So you have to go out there, take them out, steal their encryption key.
Target destroyed.
And then bring it to one of the drop-off points.
Kill them, steal it, and deliver it. We can get more intel on what Xenothreat's planning next.
Target destroyed.
These missions used to exist way back when in the PU, but they were taken out because they were broken. So we made an effort to fix these up and then reuse them in this phase.
Ouais, alors là, il a dit les missions elles existaient avant, mais elles étaient cassées, donc on les avait enlevées, et là on les a réutilisées pour les remettre en les ayant réparées. Moi, quand je l'ai faite, elle était encore cassée. Donc là, pour moi, Elliot, il vient de me mentir. Pour moi, avec mon ressenti, j'ai pas eu de bol, hein, j'ai eu la mission qui a bugué. Mais ça a du mal à passer là.
My main mission was to grab the bounty mission that we already have there and merge it with the delivery one, be sure like the decryption key was a spawner, and do that merge between both missions into one main mission style.
Après, la mission est cool, hein, quand même.
The idea was these scale up and get more difficult as you go. But on release there was a bug which actually made some of them a little bit easier, as I have seen people and also had messages saying stuff like, hey, the Xenothreat Overdrive Initiative Phase 2's ace, and then 30 minutes later might have spoken a little bit prematurely, and then a massive wall about something that might be bugged. So thanks for that, Army esports guy.
One of the most ridiculous things that I saw on Phase 2 is the hover bikes, people using 3 dragonflies to take down.
Il y a des gens qui ont fait ça en overbike.
Absolutely ridiculous.
C'est marrant, Marc.
Well done. We'll look to make the AI respond to dragonflies and actually like kill you, because there's no way you should be able to kill a hammerhead in that vehicle.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
I have contradictory feelings because it's like I put so much effort on this mission, and because of balance issue, you see these people taking the mission in a different way. But in the other side, it's fun to see the pro players that we have challenge themselves with our missions.
Ah bah là, oui, tu m'étonnes qu'il y a eu du challenge.
Phase 3 is
Se faire un
Xenothread
Hammerhead
being
avec des
a little
Dragonfly,
brazen. They
faut y aller quand même.
realize that their setup has not been working so well, so they're just doing all-out incursions. They're popping up randomly around Stanton with a massive combat fleet.
The idea
Ah,
of
c'est
normal
ça!
is you turn up, you get entered into some sort of quest, and it's like this
D'accord.
thing's happening, engage with it, and if you leave the area, you sort of, the quest is removed. The incursion is our first step into trying to do that with the current system we have.
It's a challenging thing that you will need to get collaboration between the different players to be able to tackle down those ships.
So the idea
Ok, alors ça sur le principe, c'est pas mal. Le fait que ça apparaisse à des endroits aléatoires et compagnie. Regardez mon dernier live, il me semble que c'était dans... Ouais, que c'était dans le dernier. Peut-être l'avant-dernier. Je suis allé faire des missions de salvage en étant hors la loi. Parce que voilà, c'est à peu près tout ce que j'ai qui peut faire de la thune pendant qu'on est hors la loi. Et ben en fait, là où je devais aller récupérer une carcasse, un vaisseau, il y avait pile poil ce truc-là qui était apparu. Je savais pas que c'était ce truc-là, mais du coup maintenant j'en suis certain, c'était ça. Et bah finalement, moi je me retrouvais sous le feu ennemi, alors que je venais faire complètement autre chose. Et soyons tout à fait francs, vu la taille du système Stanton, les probabilités que ça apparaisse au même endroit, elles devraient être, mais infinitésimales. Vraiment, ça devrait être minuscule. Et je suis sûr que ce n'est pas arrivé qu'une seule fois. Donc là, pareil, hein, il y a des bugs à réparer, les gars. Hein. Enfin, en fait, il doit y avoir des points d'apparition pour les missions. Et il faudrait qu'ils les varient un peu plus. Parce que dans ces cas-là, si tu as une mission de salvage, genre, juste à côté des gars qui te prennent à partie directement, alors que toi, t'es pas du tout là pour ça. Et pour vous dire, moi, mon vaisseau, il avait même pas de quoi se défendre. Donc c'était vraiment ultra chaud. Je sais pas, mais là, maintenant, je comprends mieux ce qui m'est arrivé du coup.
is you go to a location and there's lots of ships, and everyone, it's a server-wide event. So even if you've not done phase 1 or phase 2 of Overdrive, you can still do phase 3. It won't skip your progress. You still have to complete the previous phases.
Okay.
But the idea of it's kind of this is happening right now in world for everybody. Everybody needs to get here and help us destroy all of these ships.
What's
Ouais, sur le
interesting
principe,
to
c'est
me
vachement bien.
there is that when we played it, it was quite difficult. And we needed to cooperate and stay coordinated to take down like the big amount of ships that needs to be killed.
Ouais, voilà, comme je le dis, sur le principe, c'est vachement bien. Parce qu'effectivement, le but est de faire coopérer tous les joueurs du serveur et n'importe qui peut se joindre à la fête, si on peut dire. Le problème, c'est quand tu as des joueurs qui ne veulent pas se joindre à la fête et que tu fais quand même apparaître des missions pour ces joueurs en plein milieu de ce truc-là, bah c'est chaud, quoi. Alors après, bon, c'est peut-être parce que j'étais hors la loi que du coup, il m'a mis une mission là-bas, mais je pense en fait que c'est juste la mission, elle est apparue et elle est restée alors qu'il y avait l'event qui était au même endroit, au même moment. Donc bon, j'ai eu vraiment la poisse, mais ça c'est classique, hein, c'est les trucs qui m'arrivent tout le temps. Je sais pas, mais il faudrait peut-être mettre quelques petites limitations quand même, un jour si IG pour ce genre de truc. Mais l'event a l'air cool sur le
As
principe.
of recording this hasn't happened. What I expect to happen is that some lovely players will turn up in a bunch of dragonflies and just make it all look like. So, thanks in advance.
How does this make you feel?
Il y avait vraiment pas grand-chose cette semaine. Hein.
I love
Mon Dieu.
Dragonflies, I got one.
In phase 4, we kind of split it into two subsections. So phase 4 will have a section that is a com array, and then there's like a 4.A, which is Korea.
Ah d'accord,
Phase
donc c'est
is
d'abord un truc de
3
com et ensuite
arrays
carrière.
back to back are being taken down
Ah,
by
3.
Xenothread operatives.
Ok.
And then you have to go in and stop them. And in the meantime, as you're doing so, be ready to face some ships.
Ok.
They're guarding it, and you're tasked to
Ah oui, il y a des mines et
reactivate
tout.
the com array.
Ah.
And when you do, they're throwing everything they got at you. Try to reconnect to the com array.
Obviously, these are crucial to the functioning of the law and communications around the planet they get taken down from, so you need to repair them. We've added some fun little surprises and changes to them. So it's not going to be your generic comm array run that people are used to.
And once the
Ok,
camera
ouais,
is reactivated,
c'est vraiment le truc que je me demandais parce qu'effectivement, il y a déjà des missions de réactivation des satellites de communication, mais bah, c'est assez plat, quoi. C'est juste, tu vas au satellite, tu réactives et puis tu as un temps pour te barrer. Là, effectivement, il y a l'air d'y avoir quand même, comme ils le disent, quelques surprises. En vrai, si c'est juste les ennemis qui te tombent dessus, des ennemis en EVA, il n'y en aura pas. Donc ça veut dire qu'il va y avoir que les mines. Ah, je serais curieux de le faire de mon côté quand même, pour savoir exactement ce qu'il y a.
the turrets come back online and help you in the fight.
D'accord.
Apart from the camera being guarded, it's also more focusing on the combat. We're throwing a lot of ships on you, as well as the Vanguard ships are hacking into the camera while you're re-establishing the connection. So you need to focus your fire on those ships before targeting all of the escort ships.
Target destroyed.
Ok.
So the idea is that some players would be dealing with the outside defenses and other players would be trying to actually get in there and sort of make sure the comm array is handled. After you've done enough of these, it turns out that it was all a red herring.
And actually, they're doing an all-out assault on Korea to wipe the entire criminal database and sow some chaos so they can plan something more sinister.
Ok, et une
which
fois que tu
you're
as fait
being tasked to
suffisamment de
all fly
trucs...
to Korea and take out the incursion of soldiers there.
Bon, c'est pas très recherché, mais pourquoi
So
pas.
phase 5 is our events refractory period, just kind of cool off.
And the reason we do this is actually a sort of tried and true game design thing where if we keep giving you constant action, your dopamine levels are sky high and then stuff starts to get really boring. As such, people turning up in dragonflies to kill a hammerhead, clearly not enjoying this normal game.
Et donc c'est des
phase
livraisons.
5 is a delivery mission where you have to go bring supplies to the jump point from Pirate of Stanton because
Okay.
you're aware the Xenothreat's about to raid you and you want to make sure you're prepared for that big battle.
Ah, d'accord. Et
So what
donc
we
tu
do
dois
is
les récupérer dans
we
des...
have little respites where the action peaks down and then
Ah,
we'll
pas
peak
mal
it
ça.
back up. And because phase 6 is the whole Xenothreat event, which is a huge battle and it's going to be hopefully very difficult, we have a little bit of a respite. Not too much when you do phase 5 and you have to do these sort of delivery missions. There will be AI there to try and stop you. But it won't be as big as a battle as the previous phases that you would have seen.
D'accord, ouais, c'est un peu plus calme.
The jump point itself isn't a whole lot different from any other station, aside from that it looks way cooler because, you know, we're building up. Welcome to Pyro soon. People will get to Pyro soon.
Landing complete.
But it's also just a very far way for you to go. Because you're always supplying to Pyro, you don't know where you're picking your supplies from, so it can either be a very quick jump or it can be a very short jump.
And now for phase 6, Xenothreat, which you've all played, but we've made changes to it. We have updated the size of some of the boxes, so they're a
Ah
bit
oui,
more
effectivement.
difficult to
Le
handle.
18
You have to
Max,
be
c'était
more
pas
aware. Some
du
of
tout
them
de
will
cette taille.
require a dedicated tractor beam.
Ça non
There's
plus.
a new commodity that will help you out inside phase 2 of
Okay.
Xenothreat, which is the protect and resupply of the Javelin. And then the Showdown has had a whole rework based on some feedback and some cool thoughts we had from the Capture the Idris event that we did.
Ah, c'est intéressant ça. Que l'événement de capture de l'Idris leur a permis d'améliorer Xenothreat aussi.
I'm not going to spoil any more of that, but stay tuned.
Ouais, bon.
Try to board it.
Essayez d'aborder l'Idris. Ok. Pas
So the
l'Idris,
overdrive
le...
is our first sort
Si,
of foray
Idris.
into quest missions in an MMO. Things that are meant to be repeatable, grindable, meant to encourage the community spirit and people to play together. This is the kind of direction we were starting to head in when it comes to these quest chain missions. This won't be the last one you see.
Ok, alors ça me fait un peu
what we're
peur
hoping
parce
to
qu'on n'a pas
achieve
appris
with
grand chose.
Overdrive Initiative is more quest change and mission linking, more in line with other MMOs that are on the market, which for a more enjoyable play experience instead of more disconnected modules, and give a bit of a narrative flow to it as well, to become more a game.
Ok.
One thing I'd like people to appreciate is that when Chris himself and Rich asked us during some of the reviews as we were making the missions, they asked how the balancing went and if it was difficult. And both Elliot and I's response were, well, for us, it's really, really difficult, but we are kind of terrible pilots anyway.
I saw players in the forums saying that they have now motivation to every Friday go back to the game and tackle the new mission.
For the development side, what we're trying to achieve with this is just new ways of making missions, make gameplay for players more fun.
We're constantly evolving and making the game better. Seeing feedback, we have our own.
Vous voyez, genre là, par exemple, ils disent que ouais, ils essaient de rendre le truc plus fun et tout ça. Je suis d'accord, et sur le principe de lier une histoire à tout ça, c'est vrai que ça rend le tout plus intéressant. Mais par exemple, vous prenez le satellite de communication, devoir gérer le VA tout pourri alors que tu sais qu'en 3.23 ça arrive, je suis désolé, moi ça me donne pas envie de faire la mission. Donc, enfin, l'event il pourrait être vachement bien s'il n'y avait pas de tous les problèmes. Je vous ai parlé des bugs que moi j'ai eu sur les différentes phases. Voilà. En fait, le problème, comme à chaque fois, c'est que l'intention est bonne. Quand tout marche, bah, l'event est cool. Mais par contre, dès qu'il y a des problèmes, et c'est quand même assez récurrent le fait qu'il y ait des problèmes, bah, l'event il marche pas, quoi. Enfin, il marche pas bien, en tout cas.
Internal thoughts of how we think it well. We've done our post-mortems, and we know how we're going to improve it for the next one.
Okay.
So from here on out, it's only going to get better and better, and we're going to see more and more quest chains come in.
Ok, cool. Bon, bah s'ils ont appris des choses de ça, c'est bien.
So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Overdrive initiative has been a fun new addition to the persistent universe that touches an entire host of gameplay features for Star Citizen. That if there's one thing you can always count on, it's that the Star Citizens themselves are going to find emergent solutions to the challenges at hand. And that while this may be just the first gated mission chain for the persistent universe, it definitely won't be the last, as it sets the stage for a proper welcome to Pyro during our journey to 4.0 this summer. And if you haven't played the Overdrive initiative yet, there's still time to play all 5 phases starting tomorrow and running until the release of Alpha 3.23. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Ok, donc c'est la fin de l'épisode. Je vais le faire un peu à la Jared. Qu'est-ce qu'on a appris cette semaine? On a appris que oui, ils savent faire des missions avec une suite au niveau de l'histoire. Voilà.
So Hex Penetrator is an anagram for pre-Xenothreat, but we know that people data mine our source code, so I just came up with a random anagram that was very inappropriate. I didn't think it was gonna last, and then unfortunately, once it was there, people all started referring in documentations like, oh, so the Hex Penetrator mission's this, and like this and that, and I was like, well, I can't change it now, it's gonna confuse everybody, so my lasting legacy in this company is a mission called Hex Penetrator.
How does Chris Roberts feel about this?
He laughed, then told us to change it, and we forgot. Oops. Sorry, Chris. Yeah.
Bon voilà, ça c'est les petites anecdotes de développement relativement classiques, mais c'est toujours amusant à entendre. En tout cas, et ben voilà, c'était l'ISC de cette semaine. Donc on a appris qu'ils savent faire des missions avec de l'histoire. Et voilà, globalement c'est à peu près tout, hein. Donc il n'y a pas eu grand chose. On attendra la prochaine phase finalement pour la Xenothreat. Et voir un petit peu tous les changements qui ont été faits avec la taille des caisses qui a l'air d'avoir été améliorée. En tout cas, on se retrouvera très vite pour de nouvelles vidéos. Prenez soin de vous, prenez soin des vôtres. À la prochaine. Bye.